Okay, good evening and welcome to everyone. Just while we run through the setting up procedure behind the scenes, in brackets Sam's having a nightmare with tech, I'd just like to welcome you to round 2 of the SP Motorsport Coronavirus 2019 Clio Cup Championship. Hopefully from Silverstone National. We're not too sure at the moment because it was showing Donington a moment ago. We've had all sorts of activity during the week. Half of the drivers have been on the beers all afternoon, so we've no idea what the outcome is likely to be. And it was a fantastic first event from the Donington National circuit. From the Donington National circuit, where Matt was a resounding winner after a very close battle in the early stage of the race with Alex Neville, who came in second, and Ed, who was actually third on track, abused track limits as we expected he might, incurred some penalties, and Scott Thompson of Pro-Am Racing pipped him to the podium and took third place. And there's been a tremendous amount of practice going on this week. The Time Attack Championship seems to have gone completely by the wayside while people have been focusing in. There has been a few 5 and 6 lap practice races over the last couple of days and they've been absolute carnage, so we're asking the drivers to observe a little bit more patience and understanding for their fellow drivers, although I've no doubt that that's going to go completely out the window as soon as the race starts. There are a number of things to remember. Is that these are Clio Cup cars. Everyone has a forced cockpit view, so you have to have the same view. The only options you get is a loose or stable choice of setup, and I've always believed that having a stable rear end is the best way to approach both your driving and your life. We do have track limits and penalties are in place, so watch out for Alex and Ed, who seem to abuse that completely. It can give them a time penalty, and it actually cost Ed dearly last week. He had a terrible start, managed to claw his way back up to third, and then ended up in fourth position. Anyway, you can have spotters on, which gives you information and advice, and you can also have proximity alerts. I've no idea what the last of those two actually means, but we'll go from there. As you will have noticed last time, it's the same format. It is 10 minutes of free practice, during which I'll give you a little bit of information around all of the various drivers in this evening's second round. It is then a 15-minute qualifying period followed by a 20-minute race. Now, in the last event, you will have noticed that only 10 people actually managed to make the starting grid. You'll probably appreciate, if you own a Clio, that that's perfectly normal, and 6 of them broke down after the first 10 minutes on track, weren't able to take their positions on the grid, and actually it's made a massive change to the standings. So this is a championship, and at the moment, after round 1, we do have Matt out in front, who you will see as OTK in the top left-hand corner of your screen, Grant Motorsport with 25 points. Alex Neville of Graves Motorsport, more to follow on that later, in second place with 18 points. Scott Thompson of Pro-Am Racing with 15 points in third. To the Bratmobile, which is actually TOT in the top left-hand corner of your screen. That's Ed, looking for great things for him this evening. Also representing the Track Day Championship in the Club Racing UK online event. He is currently in fourth with 12. Big Tom Starkey in fifth with 10 points. Sam Pearce, your host and sponsor for this evening, 8 points in sixth place. He's just dipped into a very high 103, which is something he's been aiming to get under 1 minute 4 seconds in practice this week. Night Sky Watcher Nick McLeod is in ninth with 2 points. Dirty Bertie, number 8 of the Northern Monkeys team, he's actually in 8th at 4 points. And bringing up the top 10, because they were the only 10 to actually make the grid, is Rob the Bear, Ron Burnham-D, Green Plan Racing in 1. I'm being told points are still points down this. So we have 15 runners and riders this evening, and I'll give you some information around that as we go. So the people to look out for are Matt Parr, OTK, in the top left-hand part when you see it. Alex Neville, NEV. Ed Whitehouse, TOT, Scott Thompson, PRO. Graham Crowhurst has been leading some of the sessions and actually had a couple of wins during the practice during the week, GRA. And we do know that a number of these guys have big issues with the onboard camera pressure, and they're also having massive issues with listening to my commentary at the same time as trying to drive. We absolutely guarantee you that we will not broadcast anything that Russell Harding says, because we don't have a bleep machine that is powerful enough to last the full 35 minutes. And there he goes straight away. He hasn't even left the pits, and he's abusing everyone fantastically. So, just so you go, OTK, Matt Parr, NEV, Alan Neville, TOT, Ed Whitehouse, PRO, Scott Thompson, D4 and Dan Underwood. Now, Dan does like to go both ways, I've heard, both ways around the track, not in his personal life. And Rob, ROB, Robert Lewis of Club Racing UK, will come back to him later on. NIG, Nick McLeod, PEA, because he's got a very small head on. Oh, someone's straight off at the first corner, having a little look at the scenery, probably just adjusting some settings. Nick McLeod. Sam Pearce is PEA. KIW, Kiwi Russ Harding from New Zealand. GRA, Graham Crowhurst. 850, Johnny Tempest, in full deference and respect to his 850 Volvo that he races, proper retro estate touring car, with as cool as you like. BEA, Rob the Bear, Rob Burnham. BIG, Tom Starkey. BIR, Andy Birtwhistle, and DAV, Dave Howlett. And the first thing that I can agree and tell you this evening is that Andy has been allowed for the second week running by his missus to go out while he's in and visit the racetrack. I mean, this is going to be a weekly debate, a battle. Depends on how well he deals with his marital relationship at home, whether or not she's going to let him race. But I can promise you that he is in this evening's race, providing he doesn't decide to opt out of the lobby a little bit later. So what are we looking for during this practice session? We are looking for the people to show a little bit of early form, maybe some sandbagging. We do know that these Clio cars also benefit from drafting down the straights. They are very loose when the tyres are cold. They do have lots of opportunities for the cars to be sliding around, and we really do look forwards to this opening. Alex Neville there in the white car with yellow and black, coming to start his first qualifying lap on his out lap. One of the firm favourites. Alex uses a controller rather than a steering wheel. Unlike Ed, his steering wheel isn't squeaky either. And the time that we're expecting, if someone does manage to get a tow, as we follow Graham Crowhurst around now, is just a high 103, so 103.7, 103.8 is great, so 0.6 of a second still to go as people take to... I'm just being handed here, amazingly, from Tom Starkey's dad, Jeff. Hello, Jeff. How are you? Hope you're streaming in. A press release from Tom Starkey himself, which is incredible. It's come by courier pigeon, and the message reads as follows. And wow, this really is big news indeed. And I'm just going to read this direct and straight off the paper. It's still warm. It's just come out the printer. Thanks, Jeff, for bringing it over to us. It is with great regret that I must publicly announce my departure from the Green Star Racing team. As you know, Ron Burnandy and I have raced together with mixed success in Class D of the MSD Track Day Championship and Track Day Trophy over the past couple of years. We've had some great wins and some great podiums together, most notably our fantastic win in the Underdog Puma on the Brands GP circuit just 2 seasons ago. But like so much in life, with the sweet, there is often the sour. At the end of the season, I left the team after Ron did his thing to me once again. Crashes can and do happen. I had a big one myself on lap 1 at Brands this year when the child catcher put me in the wall on the way up to Druids. But Ron has gone too far this time. It hurts me too much. This is our story. While recovering from surgery at the end of last year, Ron took up the racing for both of us. I trusted him to see us home despite every bone in my body, and basically everyone else telling me not to. Surely history could not repeat itself 2 years running. Great qualifying, things were on plan. Yes, he had been in the gravel twice the day before in practice on the Friday, but it was raining and it was sunny on race day, and I was really confident that he was going to this time pull it out bag. He had a great qualifying. Things were on plan. Yep, he's been in the gravel twice today. Sorry, I'll go back. I tuned into TSL with everyone else with great hope. He qualified well and he started okay. We're sitting at this point P2 in class on track and second in the championship, having been denied so cruelly the year before. Last year, I couldn't make the race. We were in P3 and he binned it. Championship over. I kept telling myself that this horrendous experience would be of benefit this year. But Ronnie's Ron. Not happy with second in the championship, he wanted to beat Ronan on the track. He has a loft problem and it meant that he found the gravel. When he went in the gravel, one of them you in here yesterday. So 2 years of running, he's broke the car, he's broke my heart and he's shattered my dreams. It's not just me he's done it to. He's broken Frank, Collins and Paul's and all of the super team's hearts, ditching them to go off and race with race car consultant. He just moves on, and no doubt he'll do the same to RCC. It's just a matter of time. Only his brother can race with him now, a complete novice. And even his brother is saying to him, can I please drive first? I do not believe that I'm going to get any time on track second time around. But despite all of this, our bromance has endured. I can forgive his womanising, his drug taking, his gambling addiction, his stints in rehab and his desires to stay in £25 Airbnbs. I've defended the indefensible, but what I can't forgive is whilst we were in P3 last week, he intentionally crashed into me down the back straight. He crashed into me when we shared the car, and now he's crashed into me in different cars and stolen all the glory for me. It's just not on. He showed no remorse whatsoever, so I'm taking the star out of Green Star. I'm going to G&M because they got a 50-foot motorhome, they stay in 5-star hotels, and he will now be abandoned on the other side of the grid with race car consultants, in a form of exile, never to return. But there may be a time when he flashes his baby blue eyes and I welcome him back to suckle on my ample bosom. But for now, I need some space. So I believe that during the practice session, which is pretty boring, that just brings a little bit of context and just see whether or not there is some needle between these two, because it's a love-hate relationship, it's on and off. And a bit like when you covet your ex-girlfriend on Facebook, you really should leave it once and never come back. So 2 minutes left of the really boring practice session. Let's just see what's going on the actual track for a moment. A 103.4 from Matt. That is absolutely a stunning time. Pro-Am, Scott Thompson in second with a 103.5, so it's really close. Alex Neville on a 103.7 as well, just 0.034 seconds away. Graham's in the 103s, Rob's in the 103s. So there's a few people in the 103s, a few in the low 104s getting there really close. So the view that our drivers get is this one. They only have two options. This is the Hellcams Mud option. And we're on board currently with our provisional pole sitter practice just a minute ago now on 103.4. So as we head now down the Wellington Straight, it's the Silverstone National circuit that we're on, rather than the full GP circuit, because our sponsor didn't want to pay out. As we move into the right now of Woodcote, along the National Pit Straight, but rather than as we turn right into Cox, a fast right-hander where we can see these cars drift magnificently, we head up towards the famous, with a good sideways catch there from our fastest man on track at this time, as we come up the hill now. And rather than go through the full Maggots-Beckett's complex, we actually turn right back on ourselves here into Beckett's and back down onto the Wellington Straight, which makes up the National Circuit, which is actually what we race on quite regularly. It's fast, it's flat, the lap times are pretty close, and we're expecting some great racing. Our second place position man down, Scott, the Pro-Am Racing Clio, is on a 103.5. And that's the end of the session, so it does look like we have our top 7 drivers covered by just 0.5 of a second, all in the 103s. And we also know that 1 or 2 other people there, so Tom Starkey in 8th place at the moment with a 104.3, he's also able to get down into the 103s, but we do know that if you get a tow or a draft, you can make up some time on this circuit. So we've reached the end of our practice session. It does look tight at the top. The pressure's going to be on. We'll actually do a little bit of onboard. We do know that at this point a number of people do like pushing buttons and letting themselves get out. So we go straight into 15 minutes of qualifying. Should be close stuff. Track position is really important. So a welcome to all of the people that are following our online stream. Patrick Dean is following us. His message to the drivers was after that press announcement, I thought I was turning into Simon Mayo, all the way down there. 15 minutes of qualifying. All cars exactly the same. Be interesting to see whether any team tactics come into play. Whether people let each other draft as we go down. So as we follow Graham Crowhurst now, it does look busy. Always very, very loose at the back end there coming into the final corner. Now these 3 guys are really closely matched. A message from AMZ Throne 627. Let's hope Dan can make at least 1 lap without spinning. Not so sure we're going to be able to do that, mate. I mean, we are following Graham from trackside camera at the moment. It does make a change to be able to see him, because normally he's got a camouflage car, and as we know, camouflage is a really good way of not being seen on the track. Oh, he stuck it up the inside in qualifying. This is getting a little bit punchy already. And I think there's a bit of gamesmanship going on here, because Ed is going to get a draft, and that means he should improve on his lap time. Some varying lines through there. Graham taking the traditional racing. He's very loose in the middle of Woodcote there. So just a couple of things to point out for the people that are watching, that if you do incur track limits penalties during this qualifying session and you go wide, you will have that lap deducted from your lap time. It will not count, so you do have to play. This is set up to be as realistic as we possibly can do. also fairly sure that there's some team tactics going on at the front of the field here, where they're all and Sam's pulled out of that lap, trying to find someone. I think he's latched onto the back of Alex Neville. Alex is not having any of it either. There's cat and mouse going on into the last complex just to see who's just going to get the benefit of the draft. And Sam's decided, no, I'm going to go for it. Puts his foot down, comes around the last corner to try and set it. And Rob Lewis has done fantastically there, up into 6th place, just 0.8 seconds off of the ultimate pole position at the time. Matt's inside having a massage, doing a press statement himself about what a glorious qualifying he's had with 5 minutes to go. He may be forced to come back out, maybe he's just saving up his energy, maybe he needs to go for a wee, I'm not so sure. But it is pretty close at the front. Ed's not too far away there with 0.2 seconds to go. Just behind him, Alex 0.3 behind that, and Scott of Pro-Am Racing 0.7 seconds. So there are less than 1 second covering our top 6 as we follow now Rob Lewis in 6th place. Rob Lewis now coming up behind Sam Pearce, getting a tow down the Wellington Straight. They come into the final complex now. Sam looks like he's ruined Rob's lap there a little bit. I don't know whether he was on for a better time there. Rob's behind you there, Sam. Looks like he's going to get a draft there into T1. Judging by the statement just made by Kiwi Russ there, I'm assuming that it's not gone so well. That down in 12th place, Russ. Let's have a little check, see how he's getting on. He wasn't happy with that. He's really not happy with himself and his performance. Yes, be careful at the end of this Wellington Straight, Russ, because he has lunched the gearbox on 1 or 2 cars down here before. So luckily these flappy paddles shouldn't allow him to over-rev. Good evening, upstairs, chair 5. How are we, sir? So we jump back to the front of the field with our provisional pole position sitter, our provisional pole sitter in the pits on a 103.1. We follow Ed now, Ed Whitehouse, who's a student. He's spent all week indoors, drinking, gaming, and it's exactly the same as normal turn time. In fact, somehow he's still managed to sign into 6 lectures this week, even though the university's been closed due to the current situation. He's very tight on the inside there. Not the traditional racing line, but it does seem to be effective. Gets good drive out of there, into the last right-hander. A little bit of left foot braking, controlling the car. Into the last right-hander and out onto the start-finish straight. Nice and tidy. There was a car in front. I don't know if he's going to get a tow from there. Looks like Graham Crowhurst out in front of him there. And he does not improve on his lap time. So as we got to the back of the field now, let's ride on board with Andy in celebration of him being allowed out to race this evening. Let's just follow him around a little bit. He's wiggling all over the place. He's driving like he's got a controller, but I believe he's got a wheel. Andy is braking his Polo. If anyone wants some parts off of that car at the moment, he needs at least 700 horsepower to keep up with Dave, who's got exactly the same car as he has at the moment. But late turn in there into the left-hander. Be interesting if we can get Colin Tester involved in this at some point. I'll be really interested for his Colin Tester Racing driver coaching. See whether or not he can give some handy tips. We do know that at one point he's coached most of this field. As he goes really wide into the first turn there, Rob. That's sorry, Andy. That's why he's down in 14th place, 2 seconds off the pace. Following Graham up the hill now, and TOT just up behind him, trying to get the toe up there. Ed's really followed Graham all the way around. He's not played fair. He hasn't led out at any point. Off at 103.8 is still a fantastic lap time. Oh, he's pulled off. He's pulled off to the side. He's not having any of it, Graham. He's decided that's it. Gonna let him go past. And just 70 seconds until the qualifying is now complete. So there's a lot of shenanigans going on down the back straight. So as people finish their final laps, oh, he's taken him out. That was absolutely horrendous. That was absolutely horrendous. That's completely unnecessary. He decided, you know what? There's no way I'm improving my lap time. As we look at our qualifying positions now, so Matt out on pole position of 103.1. That is an incredible lap time, almost in the 102s. That is ridiculous. And in second, absolutely out of nowhere, with 103.5 on his final lap. Pro-Am Racing Scott Thompson there with a mega performance, jumping him up in third place to the Bratmobile Ed TOT, as you see him on the screen, with a 103.4, just 0.2 behind. Rob Lewis with a 103.9. 0.8. It's very close to Sam Pearce afterwards. So it does look like our top 5 or 6 people are all going to be in the 103s. It's going to be really close. Just a message from the drivers: do not return to Race Central. Do not hit that button, otherwise you will not be able to start. So Matt, Scott, Ed, Alex, Graham, Rob, Sam, Dave, Dan and Big Starkey 79. Now there is some news with Big Starkey. He decided that his mediocre performance last week, when he got bumped off from third into fourth by former teammate of Restart Racing, Rob, that he was going to get a new steering wheel and pedals. So he really is struggling to dial that stuff in at the moment, but once he does, hopefully it will come on song. Racing under the black and red colours of the G&M Motorsport banner this time around. A message for the drivers from Reggie. Some of this driving is reminding me of Days of Thunder with Cole Trickle smashing into that other bloke. Hopefully you'll get back on track a little bit quicker than he did. Mr. Baz 58 message: M3 driver tactics. Yep, that's right. He's used to a much heavier car. And here we are, the main event, 20-minute race. And Kiwi Russ has retired to the pits accidentally. And here we go. "20 minutes of race, 5 seconds to go. The buzzers are on, the lights are on, and they're off. And they're off, and it's a good start. And Matt immediately goes to cover the inside with Scott in second place as they head down to the first corner. As Scott goes round the outside there. They're all through the first corner cleanly, but what's going to happen, there's a little bit of trouble at the back, but what's going to happen down at the big hairpin, because this is a massive stopping zone, and they really are nose to tail. Everyone's respecting each other very well there. It's quite surprising. I expected to see more carnage in the first corner, but it is close as they go a little bit of contact there between our second and third position drivers, Alex Neville and Scott Thompson, as they jockey for position as they both come down the Wellington straight. And Ed's trying to take advantage there in the purple and white car. Scott turns in, Alex is round the outside, and they all fall nicely nose to tail as Ed tries to get up the inside of Alex Neville now. So Matt has cleared off and given himself a little bit of distance at the front. Great performance from Scott in second place, Alex Neville in third place. So it is kind of how we expected. Ed there looking up the inside, seeing whether or not this is going to be a spectacular. And Sam Pearce with a fantastic start, seeing if he can stand it up the inside for JFSI Racing there. No, he tucks in nicely behind Ed, doesn't quite manage to make that move stick. So right on board now with Ed, as he's got Alex Neville in front of him, Scott in the blue and black car, as Matt's given himself a little bit of distance up the front there. And then nose to tail down the Wellington straight. This could be interesting. Touch of brakes there from Alex on the way in. Ed traditionally has a very tight inside. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not going to make a move there. Alex has got a little bit sideways. He's lost some traction, but he's managed to control the car there fantastically well. A little dab of the brakes to control the understeer. Get the nose tucked in, and there's contact there. A little bit of contact there from Ed on the rear bumper of Alex, but he hasn't spun him off as he goes nose to tail now down the start-finish straight. Sam's got a great view of this battle behind him as we ride on board now with SP Motorsport in 6th place. They come very quickly down into turn 1, and there's Alex covering off the inside line well. Ed's trying to get a draft in front of him there. Sam mustn't be put off by this, he must concentrate on his own race as he turns in very tight. Alex late on the brakes, controls the slide well. Ed's going to be looking around the outside potentially now. Cars evenly matched, exactly the same specifications, don't forget. As we come down into the penultimate corner, it's really class. Alex is really struggling there with oversteer on the way in, but he holds the slide well. Ed has a little look, but he can't make it stick. And Sam has a little look up the inside of Ed as well as we come through Woodcote and out for another lap. Tom Starkey's got a little bit of fresh air in front of him, but Rob the Bear is hunting him down. Now this is the on-track battle that everyone wanted to see, with Ron following big Tom Starkey just 0.7 seconds up in front of him. There is a history between these two. We've heard the statement from Tom earlier in the race where he's left the Green Star Racing. His exact words were, "I've taken the star out of Green Star Racing to leave Ron Racing." And there was an opportunity there. I thought he may well have taken him out, but he's turned in nicely. Good driving there from Rob. He was concerned about his pace as through the week he hasn't necessarily been on it, but as we know, racing is very different. He's sitting comfortably inside the top 10, and Rob's doing a fantastic job. Just 6 seconds off the lead. You can still see the leaders up in front of him. And the battle is still royale at the front. As we come through the last corner, they are nose to tail now. With Alex and Sam Pearce has moved up into 4th position. Ed won't be too happy with that. He's going to get a draft down the start-finish straight. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? No, he's not. He sits in there comfortably. And Sam covers off the inside. He gives him a nudge, and he's got the back end out. And he's held the slide, but he would have lost all sorts of momentum there. So that drops Ed down to 6th position as he tries to go up that area. Try to put a move on Sam. Sam closed the door. And somehow, and out of nowhere, he's managed to string a number of laps together the right way round the track, and Dan's in 5th position. Now this is news. We weren't really expecting him to be running up the front in this way. He missed last week's race, but he was watching the live stream, or listening I should say, the live stream. As he's braking hard, he's controlling the oversteer there, and he's chasing Sam Pearce down in 4th position in front of him. All of these drivers covered by less than a second here in 3rd, 4th and 5th. As we go to the front of the field, it's getting really close at the front. So our positions 1 and 2 remain the same, but Scott has put in some consistently quick laps and has pulled the gap back, following Matt round really closely nose to tail. This is going to be a fantastic battle at the front of the field. So we're probably going to have to check this this blue and black car in scrutineering afterwards. For those of you who don't know, Scott is a design engineer who has had to spell with the A&G Petronas F1 team and also with the McLaren outfit, and he's now working with Jaguar Land Rovers. So there's every chance he could break down at any minute if JLR organics come to fruition. But it is tight at the front. He is used to driving a Clio, races a Clio 182 in the Track Day Championship and Track Day Trophy. The Pro-Am racing team, who this year are going to actually build a second car, and it's a great piece of kit, that, so it's well worth watching out for if we actually get out on track this season. So we go on board now with Scott. Matt under magnificent pressure. When we really weren't expecting this, when Matt was cleared off into the sunset during the qualifying session, but he is consistently keeping on top of him now. Takes a car length or two out of him into that hairpin. Fourth gear now, up to just over 100 miles into fifth. Has a little look up the inside, trying to put that off. Matt's not having any of it at this point as Matt turns in, brakes hard and late, clips the apex nicely, down into third. Slight difference of line into those two corners there. So a little bit faster into the corner there, and he seems to have hung on to the back of his bumper there. Matt has not pulled away from him, so this is going to be really close at the front of the field. As they come into turn one, nose to tail as they have been throughout all of this race. Really close racing at the front. Takes a bit of curb and it pushes him wide, but no, he hangs on nicely there. He really is close as he comes up to the hairpin at the top. Is he going to pull a move now? This is a traditionally difficult area to control the car with. They both turn in similarly. A little bit tighter on the inside there for Scott. Matt a little bit wider, but seems to have better traction on the exit, but they're evenly matched down this back straight. So as he's taking a couple of car lengths out of him there, maybe that's the case. A little bit of understeer there on the exit. It's important to remember as well that people can get penalties during this, so track limits do need to be respected. And race continues at the front of the field, and what a great race it is. I think we'll come back to that battle seriously, but as his dad's watching, and just to make him feel a little bit better, here is big Tom Starkey in the black and red liveried G&M Motorsport Clio. Rob Lewis is behind him, just following him up the hill with Grahams, who's dropped down to 9th place in a surprising twist of fate there. Just so you could watch your son. I mean, he is surprised that this is probably the longest that Tom's gone without crashing into someone, so make the most of it while you can, Dad. Rob Lewis trying to put him off there by... Oh, and he's really fast into that left-hander there, Rob. Much quicker than Tom Starkey. He's taken loads of car lengths out of him as they are nose to tail as we come out of the final two corners and on to the start-finish straight. This could be interesting to see whether or not Rob really fancies sticking a move on him, and he moves to the outside and Tom's gone defensive on the inside. What's going to happen as they come down into turn one? Rob holds the line, but Tom holds the line, but will he be able to keep the line? No, he's gone wide, he's pushed him wide. Great pressure there from Rob from Club Racing UK. And Club Racing UK, for those guys who don't know about it, check them out on Facebook. It's where all the amateur racing has come together, with Nick and the rest of the guys doing a fantastic job there, supporting some people through. And Graham's decided he fancies a bit of this as well, and he's decided he's coming up the inside, and they are nose to tail, the three of them. Very tightly packed as they come down the Wellington Straight. Rob trying to put off Tom by flashing his lights. What he doesn't realise is that Tom drives most of this circuit with his eyes shut. And Sam Pearce for some reason plummeting through the field here. Not sure, but as three drivers come now into the hairpin. Down onto the Wellington Straight. Graham chasing down Rob Lewis in front and Tom Starkey in front as well. So it is going well. There's a little look up the inside there, Graham. But no, not this time. As we go back to the front of the field, it's pretty much as we left it. Both turn in there, a little bit of twitch, bit of understeer, great control there from Matt. As someone's going to be joining the track, are they going to interfere with this? Not sure who that is out there. Coming into the hairpin now, flames out the back of these Clios, hopping a back wheel, that's what we like to see. These are proper factory race cars, don't forget, all similar spec cars. Crappy pedal gearboxes in real life, questionable reliability. Scott's not letting up, he really is chasing him down, keeping the pressure on. And he's going to have a look round the outside, is he? No, just a difference of driving style there. Very late on the brakes. Scott very good on the brakes there, managing to control the car. As we come on board now with Tom Starkey, with Graham behind him, and Graham's giving him a little nudge there, is he? Go four abreast now, down into the first corner. So Tom Starkey on the outside, Rob Lewis in front of us. We're riding on board with Graham Crowhurst. Three as they go into, and then two of them are taking each other off. That is an and there's all sorts of problems there. All sorts of problems. There really has been a multi-car pile up there. And Graham seems to have managed to come through that and out the other side. I don't know what's gone on. Tom Starkey and Rob's still back in the race. But they do seem to be somewhere else and completely in fresh air, Ed. And just to let everyone know that Ed has got a ginger girlfriend. We won't hold it against him. But probably because he's got a ginger girlfriend, he has to race on his own. A little bit of frustration there, I think, from Graham Crowhurst there in the black and red Clio. He has been incurring penalties throughout this race, and he's just decided that he's going to go full send and take out some of his competitors. So down in fifth place, we're expecting him to be closer to the front. As we join the front of our field now, it is still close. Has Matt got enough in him to keep this pressure? 5 minutes to go. He's been holding off number 2, the Pro-Am Racing of Scott Thompson there, for 5 minutes to go. 15 minutes so far, really has been nose to tail. And he's gone off, he's made a mistake. The pressure he was trying to apply there hasn't quite followed through, and he's gone wide, and he rejoins the track comfortably still. And Alex Neville is just behind him now. Has he got a sniff there? So after 15 minutes of constant pressure, he's just been forced into that mistake, wide into the last couple of corners. Alex is right behind him. As we move back down the field now, there's still quite a packed midfield, just a few seconds. Holding his goes by Rob Lewis of Club Racing UK, holding off Big Tom Starkey, the Ginger Ninja. Just checking up on the guys down the back there. There's Rob Burnham, who has been dropped behind Big Tom Starkey, so Tom's probably happy with that. Hopefully doesn't get to lap him later and takes him out. Johnny T having a lovely Sunday afternoon drive, out with his dog in the passenger seat, enjoying himself. Cup of tea, pipe, slippers, smoking jacket. Too many pints maybe is one of the things you can. Matt Parr out front actually is a racer. He races a very, very rapid 106 in real life in the Castle Coombe Championship. Useless every other track in the country, but really good round Coombe. As we follow Johnny now. It's not really going fast enough to get the back end out round there, is it? But, you know, it's neat and tidy. You know, he's just hoping that the 12 in front of him get too excited and crash out. He is respecting track limits at all times. And there's someone off, and Johnny's got off. The pressure has sent him off into the gravel, smashes into the wall. Miraculously doesn't damage the car. As Alex Neville, the super-tuned Judas, the man who has gone from team to team in desperate search of that elusive championship as he stepped up, the former Mini Pro-Am champion, now with Graves Motorsport. Chasing down Scott. Looks like he's made up a little bit of ground there, coming out the final corner, up into turn one. Getting the draft. We know that you can get a draft with these cars. It does make you faster, or anything up to 3/4 of a second a lap. So, having been the person that was applying the pressure, now is Scott the one who is under pressure. As we follow them now down into the Wellington Straight with just 2 minutes to go. Alex has got to decide if he's going to make a move much tidier on the way in there. Scott losing a little bit of time on the way out. On board with Alex, you can see him desawing on the wheel there. That is the difference between using a controller and a regular wheel. Come up the hill now, just a minute and a half remaining, so probably this lap and one more to see whether or not our number 3 position man, the super tuned Judas, Alex Neville, now a ARS instructor who races in the Mini Pro Series under the Graves Motorsport banner. Is he going to make a move now as we come down the Wellington Straight? His time is running out. It's a bit of action up front. Someone's gone off, throwing dust back on the street. Is he going upstairs? He's going on the inside. He's going on the inside. Is he doing it? Has he made it stick? Oh, there's bumpers, there's side action there. They really, no quarter given by either driver there. Scott holds on to that position. Some fantastic driving by the pair of them to keep themselves on the track and under control. And just one more lap now as they cross the start-finish line for the last and final time. This could be interesting. Alex moves to the inside, puts him off. Is he waving to him? No, he can't quite make it stick. He's going to have to try something either up into the hairpin, or probably the last opportunity is down the Wellington Straight. This is the real action on track. Our leaders out there turning the hairpin on his own. He was the winner at Donington. If he holds it together, he's got a 4-second lead here. He should sit across the line as they come down the Wellington Straight. No, Satal, this is probably the last proper chance for Alex Neville to make a move on Scott in front, and he moves to the inside. This is going to be who's going to be the last of the late breakers. Scott starts coming to the inside, but it pushes him up the inside. Alex does make the move. He pushes Scott wide, and Scott doesn't manage to keep it on track. And Alex is understeering wide. Is he going to be able to put it back into the apex? And it's going to be a drag down into the final start-finish straight to see who's going to take this second or third position. Great piece of driving there by Alex, toughed it out, tried the move on the previous lap, didn't quite get it to it, and he has gapped him on the way out. So it is Matt who finishes in first place, and fantastic performance there by Alex Neville coming in second place. Scott, unfortunately, after having so much pressure on our lead driver at the outset, managed to get through. There will be penalties to be applied here at some point as well, but our race winner is Matt Parr, once again confirming and reinforcing his championship lead. And Graham comes down in 6th place, in 7th, and it does look like there's going to be a 35-second penalty there for Graham, which is going to push him further down. Dan in 7th position. Dave of the Northern Monkey team now going up into 8th. Andy Burt has been allowed out. Yeah, he's going wide. He's really, really wide there on his final lap. It'd be interesting to see whether he gets in there. In 11th position is Nick McLeod. And bringing up 12th position is Johnny T. So our top 10 was separated by just over 14 or 15 seconds, and the race has been complete. That is our final positions. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will be back again next week on Saturday evening for round 3 of the championship, and we will be looking to see whether or not the practice that people put in this week makes a big difference. Round 3 will be from Alton Park on the international circuit, so another BTCC track. That is the 18th of April. We really look forward to everyone joining us 8 p.m. for practice, and maybe a response from Ron Burnhamdy is what we're fully expecting next week after that shocking announcement by Tom Starkey leaving Green Star, taking the Star out of Green Star Racing and joining the G&M Motorsport team and bringing it home in a powerful 6th place. The Northern Monkeys not really doing too great this time, but they are there or thereabouts, and at some point Johnny will finish off the race. Hopefully it will be this evening, but we enjoyed having everyone. Hope you've enjoyed watching. This will be saved on my Mixer stream in case anyone wants to have a look at it at a later date. I certainly know that I'm going to be wanting to watch some of that fantastic action. So thank you very much everyone. Stay safe, and goodbye from Sam Pearce Motorsport, G&M Motorsport, Supertune Motorsport, Grays Motorsport, Everyone Motorsport sponsored the second round of the Coronavirus 2019 Clio Cup. Good night.